Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is your boy James from What's Your Forte, and today we are here at Euro Empire, and we are going to be dynoing my G80 M3. Today we're going to be testing out to see if the Burger Motorsports intakes added any power. As a lot of you guys know that watch the channel, I've already dynoed the car with the race chip, dynoed the car stock, and we are going to be comparing those numbers to the numbers I get today with the Burger Motorsports intake. So we're going to really test. We'll do this little myth busting today. Do these intakes make any power? Will I have any increase? We're gonna find out all that today. All right, let's get it. All right, everyone, so as you can see, I'm back in the car, and I want to talk about the results we got on dyno testing the Burger Motorsports intakes. So first, we ran the dyno on map 7 on the race chip with the Burger Motorsports intakes. So for those that may have forgotten or may not know, we've already dynoed the car on map 7 before. So before, looking at my numbers here, we got a best run of 552 and 579 as far as horsepower and torque. This time around, we got a gain in horsepower. We got 566 horse, but we did lose a little bit in torque. Torque was rated at 561. So I'm not sure if that's a result of the intakes or not. It was kind of warm in the area where we were dynoing at, but I mean, we did see a loss in torque. Now, looking at the graph in more detail, showing you guys on the screen here, as you can look at the horsepower and torque up to about 3,500 RPM, there were gains. And then from 3,500 RPM to about 5,000 RPM is where you see the little dip. And it's really just peak torque between 35 and 500 where you see the little dip on the race chip as far as torque is concerned. And then you see it pick back up after 5K all the way to red line where it's above the previous numbers that we had gotten. Looks like in that mid range from 3.5 to 5K there's a little bit of a dip there, but then from 5K up you're getting the increases, and from pretty much stop to about 3.5 you're getting the increases. So in that mid range there you do get a little dip there, and then you pick up. So kind of interesting graph there. So we saw those numbers and we was like, okay, let's put the car back to stock. So you have the ability on the race chip to disable the race chip and put it on like the stock, map. So we did that and then do some dyno runs on that. So those numbers were really interesting. So stock, just to remind you guys, the best run I got was a 492 horse and about a 486 torque. was the best run that I got as far as combo of horsepower and torque. I did get a run where I got more torque, but I got way less horsepower. So this is probably the best run from when we looking back at the previous runs that I got as far as the stock numbers. So with the intakes on stock map, stock numbers, we got increases in horsepower and torque. So looking at the graph here, the power that we got was 497 horsepower and 502 pound-feet of torque stock. So that is a pretty good increase over our previous numbers with these intakes. So if we're taking a look at the graph here, so it's a little bit different It's kind of inverse of a little bit of what we saw with the race chip. So with the stock map here, as you can see, from pretty much the start all the way to about, I say about 3,400, you're a little bit lower than what the stock numbers were, and then from probably about 34, 35 all the way to red line is where you're seeing the gains at. So right around, I'll probably say the biggest gain as far as horsepower and torque is probably right at 3,600 RPM. If you look at the graph, you can see the biggest gains there. So that's the big jumping gains there, around 34, 3,500 RPM, and then all the way to red line, as you can see right here on the graph, you're seeing gains throughout the power band on the stock map. So it definitely did add power, definitely did change things there as far as on the stock map, adding these intakes. So I know a lot of people have these myths around, do intakes add power? And right here you're seeing that it's add power. Even with the race chip, it added power, even though the race chip torque was a little down. Sometimes with some of these piggybacks, you're gonna see variances. So that's the reason why we wanted to put it on the stock map and run it again. And on the stock map, you see powers throughout the power band, from 34, 3,500 all the way to red line. Typically I do see in intakes that you do dip a little bit when you put an aftermarket intake on in the lower end, but you pick it up once the car gets revving, turbo starts breathing better, it's taking in that extra air and you're getting a little bit more power. So as you can see, the proof is in the pudding, man. Right there on the dyno graphs, you can see the increase in power. So very, very interesting. Good job with Burger Motorsports, creating and designing these intakes that make actual power, man. So I mean, that's all I gotta say, man. I got the proof, got it right there. Do intakes make power? Apparently it does, So for all those that may have thought they don't make power, it's just noise, it's showing you right there that they did make power. So that's pretty good news right there for anyone that's invested and purchased these intakes. So you can feel pretty confident that they're going to add a little bit of power. Is it tremendous power? No, but it is a little bit of power that's going to help you a little bit. So at the end of the day, I'm happy with them and they sound really good. So that definitely helps when you're driving the car as well. You got a good sounding car and you got a little extra power bump. So that's gonna be today's video. Again, special shout out for Keys Motorsports for getting these Burger Motorsports intakes shipped out to me super fast. If you guys are interested in these intakes, I will have them linked down below where you can get them. All right. So again, that's gonna be today's video. I hope you guys liked it, and I'll holler at you guys later. Peace.